All right, the last type of cascading style sheet you can create is a linked style sheet. Linked style sheets are where you place the styles in a separate document called a style sheet, and then it has the ability to link to multiple pages so that styles have a global or site-wide scope. The styles defined in a style sheet can affect every single page of your website, not just a single page or not just a single tag like we've learned about earlier. This is basically the only method of the three that truly separates the presentational styles from the structural markup. And if you centralize all your CSS styles in a style sheet, your web design and editing can become much easier, because if your client comes back to you and says, I want to make all my headers a different color, have a different treatment, you just do it one place and it'll affect 1 page, 10 pages, 1,000 pages, however many pages are linked to that style sheet, it can go ahead and affect. So they're very, very powerful and very, very flexible. So let's go ahead and create a linked style sheet. Once again, I'm starting with the exact same page that we've been working with previously. So here's what the page looks like in the browser with no styles applied to it. We'll go ahead and we'll add some styles, and then we will see how it looks. The first thing that I need to do is I basically need to create a separate document that's going to contain my styles. So I have to actually do that. I'll create the style sheet in a separate file. So let's go ahead and let's do that first. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to open a new document, and this could be in my text editor or it could be in Dreamweaver. I'm just going to do a file new, and you can see in the new dialog box in Dreamweaver it actually prompts you to create a new CSS file. I could just create a new HTML file too and just delete everything. It doesn't have to be a CSS file. In Dreamweaver, when you create a CSS style, it just has this little comment that's letting you know that it's a CSS document. You really don't even need this. You could delete that if you want. It's not really necessary, just so you know. But if you do create that through Dreamweaver, you will see that. The next thing I need to do is I need to create my styles. And my styles basically are going to look exactly like they did in the embedded styles, with the exclusion of that style tag that we started with. So basically you just start by writing your style. So if I start by writing an H2 with an opening curly brace and a closing curly brace, I can then go ahead and I can come in here and I can start to, set my font family like we did before. So if I set my font family and I start to specify what the font is, we were using Georgia, which is a serif font. Terminate with a semicolon, and then I'll specify the color just like we did before. And basically we're going to be using the same styles. So instead of me typing all of this in for you again and wasting our precious time, I will go ahead and I'm just going to copy the styles from the external style sheet that I used before, or I'm sorry, from our embedded style sheet. So basically I'm just going to go ahead and open up, and I actually have it opened right here, my final embedded style sheet. So this is the one that we were just working on right here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to select my styles and I'm going to copy them. And then I'll just come to my style sheet and I'll just paste those in. So I have my H2 defined. I'm doing font family, color, background color. I have actually a padding on the bottom here, and let's just take that out for now because I don't think we had that before. We can add that in a little bit later on. I have my border bottom width, my border bottom style, and my border bottom color. Then I have my paragraph tag defined, and these are all the attributes that we put in there from before. And then I have my UL tag defined. So this is basically exactly the same as what we did before. Oh, I don't think I had this in there either, so let me just get rid of that. All right, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to save my file. So I will just save this file out. And when you save the CSS file, you just need to add the extension of CSS. So I'm just going to go ahead and make sure that my files are here. And I'm going to go ahead and save this one as, I'll just call this linked.css, and I've already made a style folder where I keep all my style sheets, so I'm just going to call this one linked.css. All I need to do is name it and put it wherever I need it to be and save the file out. So now I've actually created my style sheet. Now I'm coming back to my web page. I need to tell the web page that I want to point to this linked style sheet. So similarly to the embedded styles that we just talked about, when you make linked styles, you're going to basically add a tag to inside the head, which is going to point to that external style sheet. So I've just put a couple of spaces so you can clearly see what I'm doing. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to type link, which is going to let the web page know that I need a link to a file. And then I'm going to put href, okay, and that's what you use in HTML to link. And you can see that I just hit return and Dreamweaver's putting the quotes in, and it's also asking me to browse. So you can use this if you want to browse. I know where my files are. They're in a folder called styles, and the name of the file is called linked.css, and that needs to appear in quotation marks. Now, don't forget that you're going to need to keep track of the path to your style sheet. This HTML file happens to just be up one directory from my style sheet, so I just need to put styles/linked.css. If this particular web page was located somewhere else, I may need to alter the path slightly. But keep that in mind, and you should know that from building web pages before. Then I need to put the rel tag in there, which basically lets me define like the relationship. So it's letting the browser know what type of file this is, and you can see that it basically is going to offer a list of options right here. One of these options happens to be a style sheet, so I'm just going to use that style sheet, and then I'm going to put a space and I'm going to put type, and then I need to specify if it is JavaScript or CSS, and of course we're using CSS right now. And then I just close the tag. So this simple line of code is the only thing you need to add to your XHTML page once you've created the style sheet. If I save this page and if we check it out in the browser, oops, that's the wrong page, that's what I copied from. If I refresh my page, you can see that now it takes on all of the attributes that were defined in the CSS page. And I'm just going to make this page a little bit more narrow and pull this over here to the right a little bit so we can kind of, if we make any changes, you can see how they update. So there it is. Okay, I have one spot where I've defined this, one style sheet that is controlling this. If I decide I want to make a change, like let's say that I want all the text to be black or something like that, I can go back to my style sheet and I can just change the color to the appropriate hex value, or you could even write, like you can type in black, you don't need the hash mark there. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to type in black, which should be 000. When you're doing, usually you write hex values with 6 characters, but if it is a value that repeats, like a web safe, you can basically control it with 3, like this. So I'm going to save my file and we'll come over here and we'll reload the page, and now you can see that every H2 tag has been changed to this black color. So the style sheet is very powerful, and it's globally controlling what's going on right here, which is really nice. We have a lot of control what's happening right here. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to push the text away from the bottom of the box and the left edge of the box a little bit. And let's change back to our blue color. I'm just going to do edit undo because I like the blue better than the black. I just wanted to kind of show you that. So I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of spacing right there. So let's do that now. I'm going to come back to my H2 tag. I'm going to go ahead and hit return right there, and I'm going to add a little bit of padding. So I'm going to do a padding, not global padding, I want to do padding on the left. So I'll specify padding left, and I'm going to go ahead and put the amount in pixels, and we'll just do a small amount, like 4 pixels. And then I'm going to go ahead and add padding to the top as well. And I'll go ahead and just add like 2 pixels to the top, and let's add 2 pixels to the bottom as well. So this is just going to give a little more space around the edge of that box right there, which I think will make things look a little bit better. So I'm going to save out my style sheet. I don't have to do anything with my HTML page because it's already pointing to the appropriate spot. If I reload now, you can see how the H2 tags all change back to the blue, and then there's a little more spacing both on the bottom and the top and on the left edge, so everything's not so squished in there. So padding can definitely help you to add a little bit of a buffer if you'd like, and we'll be using padding a lot as we continue on learning about CSS. But that's basically all you have to do to create a linked style sheet. So now you know the three types of style sheets. We've reviewed inline, embedded, and linked, and you know a little bit about the benefits of using all three. More than likely we'll be using linked more than the other three, but I did want to introduce them because there are going to be situations where we might want to use those as well.